Hello?
It's yeah, it's not a slice, it's a scoop. Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
What's up?
So as someone who I have not consumed a massive amount of your content, so I wanted to ask up front because I'm fairly unclear on this.
Okay.
To what degree do you acknowledge the performative or artistic elements in what you do?
Can you ask that in a way that has a premise that I agree with instead of acting like if I say no that I'm just not acknowledging something or lying?
I'm not sure if I can, but I can try.
Okay.
Um, I guess it seems to me that
To what degree
you
do you
say
acknowledge that you're a fucking asshole? You know what I'm saying? It's not a
like 73%, I guess.
it's I'm saying you're it's, okay, well, I'm saying the
No,
question's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's quite the question's loaded. So what are you at?
Um,
Are
it
you
just
saying
seems to
something or are
me
you
that a
okay?
lot of the things you say, well, they are true or contain an element of truth. You say them in the most inflammatory or provocative way, um, presumably in order to garner attention.
Can you give me an
And I guess,
example?
so I guess I just watched the thing where you're negotiating the sex doll thing with your girlfriend.
Okay. That is how I actually talk to my girlfriend.
So you guys didn't have like a different version of that conversation off cam, and then that's just basically it.
I can't answer that because I don't want to give you more. I don't want to add to more evidence to the video. I will say that yes, like we're both probably being. I mean, like obviously the camera changes how you talk, but I'm saying more or less that is how I talk to Shaylin. Yes. Well, okay, I'll put it this way. No one from my personal life who like our friends did. Nobody saw that and was like, "Oh my god, that's what happened! I can't believe you had this conversation."
Sure.
So, yeah,
Do you think that if you
one
had
one of my
somebody,
friends was laughing hysterically at the idea that people thought that this was staged and that we're not actually like this.
okay, yeah, I was unclear on whether it's like a performance art thing
Yeah,
or
it's
not.
not. It's just a documentary.
Okay, do you think that if you had somebody in your audience who was, say, a 18-year-old dude who didn't have much experience in any kink or more dangerous sexual play, and they looked at that and thought this is a good way to negotiate a kink scene or something, would
I
you?
don't think this was a kink scene, and I don't think being quiet is dangerous sexual play. In fact,
You know,
the idea that it is dangerous sexual play goes against the entire point I'm making. When two people are having sex, they're both responsible for their own consent and pleasure and well-being. You can have some cross responsibility, but ultimately you are responsible for yourself while you're having sex. So it's not dangerous. She's a woman, she's not a child. It's dangerous to have sex with a child because a child can't take care of themselves, but a woman can. So to tell a woman, hey, I want you to take care of yourself while we're having sex, that's not dangerous kink play. I think that's an incredibly sexist, infantilizing way to talk about women.
I guess what struck me
Okay.
was more that when she's trying to your dismissal of her expressing her concerns with it seemed to me to be a very
Uh,
unhealthy way to negotiate any type of sexual encounter.
I think it's an unhealthy way to negotiate a sexual encounter. If I say, "Do you want to do X?" and the other person says, "Well, I think I may blah blah blah. I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that. I want to be talked through this." And I don't want to I just say yes or no. I just want you to take all of those interesting things you're about to say and put them back in your mouth and put them up to your brain and then just answer my fucking question. Do you want to do this and how often do you want to do it? And if
And do you think that, go
in
ahead.
order to say yes, you need me to convince you, then just say no.
Okay, yeah,
That's
that was
fine.
basically going to be my question. So,
Yeah, I don't want to talk my own girlfriend into sex.
right, but it's a specific type of sex.
I don't want to talk her into any type of sex. You notice that in that conversation, I did not try to make the proposal sound appealing at all. I did not try to dress it up as something that she should say yes to
True.
or should want to say yes to. When she tried to dress it up, she was like, "Well, I do kind of like," and I was like, "No, no, no. You hate this. I'm asking you to do something that you hate that makes you upset, and I'm going to eat a Slurpee orange while I lick my lips and shake my hairy nipples at you while I do this. Yes or no? I just need you to think this through and say yes or no." I think that's the opposite of trying to talk somebody into something.
I guess I come from a school of thought where it feels to me that if somebody is expressing a concern, I should at least fully hear it out and
Why?
just it just seems like a necessary ingredient of
If
a
me hear
consensual good sexual encounter to me. I
if
don't know.
me hearing out your concern is necessary for your consent, just say no because I don't want to hear it.
Well, but it's also
I don't want to
housed
hear your
inside this.
concerns.
It's also housed inside this premise of you have to have sex with me at some point, right? This is a necessary condition of our relationship.
Yeah, okay, I don't mean forever I don't want to hear your concerns. I'm saying in this conversation where I'm asking you to do something for me, I want you to, if you have a concern, I guess I want you to represent it as, yes, I'll do it, and as long as XYZ. Is that okay with you? Like an adult. I want you to negotiate like an adult. I don't want you
Sure.
to be like, well, I don't know. I don't want, if you once you start waffling, I'm like, well, now I don't want this. I don't want to convince you. I don't want to talk you into it. And it felt like she was putting me in the position of, I don't know, because she said yes immediately, and then I talked her out of it in a way. So it's kind of complicated. But I just don't want to feel like I am caretaking while I'm asking for sex shit. And if you need me to caretake while I'm asking for sex shit, then just say no.
Right. I guess this is why I asked initially if there was another version of this conversation that happened off cam, which you don't want to get into, and fair enough. But it feels like that would be a necessary ingredient because you're not.
I don't agree.
Do you think that you guys have a power imbalance in your relationship in general?
Yes, but not in the direction you think.
Do you think? Okay. You think that she has more power over you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that I have more explicit power and she has more underhanded power. The problem is that the demon can always turn a regular conflict into a demon conflict. I mean, like in the video, I think Shaylin was way more controlling than me. I am acknowledging when I'm being controlling because I'm acting controlling. I'm not talking her into shit and helping her feel like blah 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 when the whole while I'm just trying to think about how I'm going to get my way and do my thing. I'm actually acknowledging when I'm being controlling, which to me is less controlling. Shaylin was super controlling while pretending that she was just a helpless little damsel in distress. Now she's got the whole fucking planet wrapped around her finger.
Well,
That's power.
you did
It's
it
dark,
on
but
purpose, though. You know how that video is
it's
going to come off.
it's demonic power. That's right, chat. No, but I do that in our interpersonal interactions too. I'm like very blunt. I'm blunt with my work and when I talk to people in every conversation. I'm very blunt about what I am doing in the conversation. I get upset when people are not
I, d- I,
direct.
okay. I'd like to ask you about. This applies to this conversation, but also other conversations I've seen you have. So, do you think that your ability to deconstruct other people's rhetoric, to be very loud and aggressive when you want to allow them to express themselves, and then come around reasonably when you want to, I feel like you're very talented at that, but I feel like you can also bulldoze people in conversations pretty easily if they're not hyper aware of those dynamics. Um,
Yes. I think that if in a conversation that is strictly above board with everybody using the rules, following the rules the way we're supposed to talk to each other, then I become quite powerful compared to Shaylin. Or, I mean, in that video, you can just see
Yeah.
when. Well, that's actually not true, though, because she got mad and she did communicate with me in an above board way. And then she kind of took control of the conversation for like 5 minutes. She's like, "Don't talk when I'm talking. Here's what I think. I think you're responsible for this because you did this." And like um I just don't. I guess I just don't agree with what I just said or with what you're saying. I don't agree that Shaylin can't stand up to me in an above board way and that she has
Well,
to
I don't
resort.
know if she can or not. I don't
Well,
know.
in the
You're right.
video she does, so you do know that she can because she did. I
Well,
like
I also
maybe
remember her
maybe I'm
being
like a
like, I would
little
like to,
better.
I
I
don't
might
want
be
to
a
talk
l-
about this on camera. I want to end it. And then it doesn't end. And you continue to talk about it on camera.
yeah. That's her being underhanded. It's underhanded to tell somebody, "Well, I'm leaving," and then sit there, or be like, "I'm not talking about this anymore," and then you're like, "Oh wow, a huge power play," and then they keep talking about it, and you're like, "Oh, I see. You're just making it so I don't know if we're still talking about it.
Do
It's
you
a
think
power
that a
play."
reasonable person could read that as her trying to assert her boundary, but
Yes, there
you
are
kind of
lots of
bulldozing
very,
over it?
very stupid, hyper charitable, sexist, reasonable people in the world. It is a reasonable position to take. It's wrong, but it is reasonable.
All right. Well, can we circle back to a couple seconds ago? You said when everybody's playing by the rules and it's above board. So I've also noticed that you kind of, for instance, if somebody tries to tell you what you're thinking, you very aggressively tell them not to, but you very aggressively also tell people what they're thinking and refuse to listen to them when they tell you otherwise. Do you think that that lack of reciprocity in conversations is problematic in any sense?
No, because I don't. Uh, Doing something that other people don't like, or and that you don't like, is it's not. It's like hypocrisy. People aren't saying like, "Don't tell me what I'm thinking because it's immoral," and I'm like, "No, it is moral." Nobody's saying that. They're just saying I. They're saying I don't like it, and then when they do it to me, I'm like I don't like it. I do like it if I think the person's right about what I'm thinking, or challenging me in a way that I enjoy. I like that. When I feel like they're dismissing me, then I don't like it. Um, so I just think it's a little unfair to paint this in a such broad strokes as, do you like when people tell you what you're thinking? Like, somebody might tell you that you're thinking something that feels really insightful and then you would like that, or somebody might say something really fucking stupid and then you wouldn't like that.
I'm
So
I'm referring more to the rules, like you set rules of engagement in conversations. And I've seen in like panels or debates with other people, you like yell at them. You're like, "Don't tell me what I'm thinking. Never do that.
oh,
Fuck off."
yeah, that's not a
And
rule of
then
engagement. That's not like a broad rule of engagement. I don't have a rule that I don't want people to tell me what I'm thinking. I think I said that to one person who I thought was full of shit. Not because I don't want people to tell me what I'm thinking, but I'm like, you are not engaging with what I'm saying, and you're wrong about what I'm thinking, and it's a waste of time, and it's a nightmare for me to listen to this. But I was not trying to say I don't want people to tell me what I'm thinking. You're welcome to tell me what I'm thinking right now. You seem like an empathetic, intelligent person. I am happy to hear your thoughts on my internal process if you would like to share them.
I am genuinely unsure. Somewhere in my heart of hearts, my intuition was that this is all not necessarily. I don't think that you're like lying about everything. I don't think it's all like an act or whatever, but I think that there it seems like there's some element of the art. Like it's all art at the end of the day. And you know, in you ever seen V for Vendetta?
Yes, I will say that a lot of newer viewers of mine who have not watched a lot of my content seem to skew towards thinking it's like an act, and then people are like, "Oh, it's just not." Eventually, so
Hmm. Well, I guess like you say like, all right, so like if you take your
it's
pedophilia
simply
take.
Jewish, is what my chat is saying. Sorry, what were you
Oh,
saying?
I'm Jewish too, so yeah, I mean they can cook me as well. But
Well, I think they were
no,
saying
so if
that
you're
my
pedo
personality is just that of a Jewish person, but if you're Jewish, then maybe it's not.
yeah,
I'm
well,
not
I
even
don't
that
know.
Jewish. Okay, sorry. What were you gonna ask?
I'm saying for your pedophilia take, for instance, and this is true about most things. You're giving like I have a degree in psych or whatever. You're giving mostly a very academically correct description.
The standard
Yes,
view.
and you are doing it in an extremely inflammatory and controversial way. I'm assuming intentionally. I'd call it art, probably. I don't know what you're doing at the end of the day. I don't know, but
Okay.
like the fact that you're doing it, the fact that you could say everything you said in a way that isn't controversial at all, and then you've garnered some level of internet fame from doing it in the controversial way, it kind of all leads me to think that this is
Okay.
intentional.
I can speak to
But
that. I want to read these super chats really quick.
good.
Think you described it best. It's like the scene from Fight Club, and you're trying to not get us to not cut your balls off. You're trying to not get us to not cut your balls off. I'm trying to get you to not cut. Did you mean to have a double negative there? Ask Liam. Fair enough. Love you. This is your best video yet. Well, thank you. Oh, you were gonna say the best video, but then you said mine. No, it is the best video. Thank you for the donation. Okay, listen. There, a lot of controversy comes from an inflammatory provocativity comes from context. So, yes, the things I say, if you say them in an academic way about like subjects, test subjects, expressed blah blah blah, pedophilic attraction on a spectrum, therefore blah blah blah, that could be somewhat controversial, but not really. But I think what I like with the cuties review, I'm I'm literally just saying what I'm thinking, man. I don't like the I think that most people have a kind of barrier they put up in their brain where they're like, yeah, I know if I took some psych classes, I understand that pedophilia has to be a spectrum and that it has to be normal for people to have momentary attractions to underage people or to children, whatever. That has to be a normal experience that people have. And then, like, if you told a therapist about that, they'd be like, well, it happened once, like, or occasionally. It doesn't really matter. Um, I'm, but a normal person might think or know those things, but they know not to say them in their cuties review because then people
Do you
will think
think
you're
there's a
weird.
middle ground there?
But I think that's an inhibition response and that other people are having. So it's not that I'm not like being performative. It's more I'm just being uninhibited.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you you're lying because I don't know
You
you and I
can
don't know.
you can tell me I'm lying.
I don't know. I don't know if you're lying. I guess
Okay.
I could see some. If I were to say what you said, I can think of ways that would express the point clearly without being wildly provocative.
Okay, I also didn't think my cuties review was going to be wildly provocative because everybody who I had 1,700 subscribers, and most of
Sure.
them had already seen all of my other videos. So when I made the review, I was just talking to my own fans. I didn't think anybody else was going to watch it. It took me like 2 hours editing, filming and editing total, and then I posted it. Did not put a lot of thought into it, and I thought my followers, they'll like, yeah, some of them might be like, oh, this is weird, but like they get me. They already know me, and so they're not going to think I'm a pedophile. I don't think any of my existing fans thought I was a pedophile from the video, and it was not my intention to be provocative. I was honestly just like, I mean, I had a YouTube channel for 3 years at that point, very little growth, a diehard core fan base that I was just like, I'm just making shit for you. Like I want more fans, but I'm just, you know, it was, I feel like you're ascribing some like hindsight to it that I just did not have at the time. It was more just like, I'm gonna literally just say what I think of this video and post it on the internet.
Hmm. Okay. Well, all right. Fair enough. I want to ask you one technical thing and then
Yeah.
something completely different. So,
Okay.
in terms of, I mean, you talk about spectrums a lot, and specifically regarding pedophilia, I think on like a levels of analysis level, and I don't know what the data is for this, so I could be totally wrong and you can educate me. But when I'm looking at something where I'm assuming the spectrum, say it goes from 0 to 100. If the vast, vast majority of the population is clustered between 0 and 10, say, and then there's a small segment of the population that is clustered up at 90 or something,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's fair to say that the language of spectrums might not be the right level of analysis and there's like
Yes.
a property at a certain point and we could just call it that?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And then in completely
But I don't
other,
agree. I don't agree that that is the distribution of people's average age of attraction. But I under if
I
that were
don't know the data on it. I'm not sure, to be honest. It just strikes me as unlike. That's my intuition would be that most people are clustered between 0 and 10, with a small segment of the population much higher.
um well, children are all pedophiles.
True.
So it's the feeling of wanting to have sex with a 10-year-old is something everybody goes through. I just
I
think
don't
some
know.
people,
I remember being like 12 and being really into like big tits.
yeah, but it's not like you were not into your classmates.
Yeah, because they were emotionally and intellectually on a level and it was
Hey,
attainable.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
can
sure
see,
though,
you can, so this is what I'm talking about. What I said is true, but you want to spread it with boring margarine to just make it go down easier. I don't want to do that. I want to
Well,
just
no, in
say
a
that
slightly non-boring way.
but this is a fact. Everybody knows what it's like to want to fuck a 10-year-old because we've all been there. I
But
think
at 13 years old,
my own personal pet like theory of pedophilia is that some people get stuck there. I think that's what's weird
possible,
about it.
yeah.
And
I'm just
I
saying, if I was 12 and I had a magic factory, I could press a button and make a any type of woman I want appear to be my sexual partner. I
I
think I
understand.
would,
I know
yeah.
you were a
I don't think that's where I
non-pedophile
was at.
12-year-old. You're I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's
You don't think
relevant
that's
to
common? Okay.
I think it's common. I just don't think it's relevant to what I'm saying, which is everybody has gone through a phase of life where they want to fuck a 10-year-old. And I think that one thing that might happen with
You're
pedophiles is they
doing the
might get
thing. You're doing the thing I'm saying though, where
yeah,
you're
and
saying it
the
preposterously.
thing you're doing the thing I'm saying I don't want to do, which is adding a bunch of extra boring stuff to make an interesting concept like kind of meaningless and just fly apart. I just said I think my own personal pet theory of pedophilia is that pedophiles get stuck there. And then you're like, "Yeah, but when I was 12, I wanted Pamela Anderson, bro." I'm like, "Okay, that's not what we're not talking about how not a pedophile. What fucking bigger virtue signal can you make is that even when I was 12 I wasn't a pedophile. Like it's not what we're fucking talking about. And so that's why I don't think I'm a performative liar. I think that people who I think you are a performative liar. I think that you are saying
Okay.
I want to just dump a bunch of boring stuff on this conversation to make it so we can't talk about it.
Am I allowed
And
to
I
respond?
yes.
Okay, so there's two conversations happening. One, we're having
Okay.
a conversation about the rhetoric style, and the other one,
Yes.
we're having a substantive conversation about pedophilia, right?
Yes.
So I think that we probably agree on the pedophilia one. I'm just saying that you're the one who's adding the spice when you
No,
say
I'm saying
everybody goes through
you.
a
I
phase where they want to fuck a
understand that.
10-year-old.
I'm saying you. It's a spicy conversation already. It's like a perfectly made taco. It's nice and spicy, and you're pouring warm water on it to make sure it's not too exciting. This conversation we're having largely for entertainment purposes or for intellectual stimulation or emotional stimulation. You want to make sure it's not too exciting. Oh, we don't want anybody watching a review of this super controversial movie getting too excited by the review. We want to make sure everybody's moderately bored by everything we say so that no one gets too upset. Like I don't I don't think I'm like an edgelord for not wanting to do that. I just want to have the conversation and say the blunt things that I am thinking about pedophilia. So I think pedophilia, the way there will be some people who are my age who still play with action figures, or people who like still watch like children's shows. At a certain point, it's like, yeah, some part of me can kind of relate to that. Like, you know, if I watch My Girl, and I see Macaulay Culkin and whoever kissing, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of understand that, but like, most of me's move past it. I think pedophiles are like just stuck there forever.
Okay, that's all fair. My only other note on that would be it's possible that we should be approaching the pedophile taco conversation in terms of optimal nutrients and health rather than optimal flavor. Um, but that's fine. I don't think we're going to make any progress on that.
You think it's
Before I go, I just want
irresponsible
to,
to make it exciting,
I think
or
it's
to be
possible.
blunt?
I think it's sometimes, you say things like, there's one, I'm trying to remember what you're talking about, where the guy you were debating was like, well, what if this leads to the whole world fucking collapsing or some shit? And you're like,
Yeah.
so what? Fuck it. And I think that sometimes, like, there's kind of a equity value calculation people make in terms of like what is the downside and how dangerous is it, and you're not really concerned with it at all, or maybe you are, and this is
I,
just what you
I'm
feel the best way to do it is. It's fine. I mean, I don't think I'm going to shift you on this, but it's just what I wonder when I see you talk.
I am concerned with it.
Okay,
Um,
I think that's positive.
I don't want to be so concerned with it that I start lying, but I'm not that concerned with it talking about pedophilia. I'm more concerned with it when I talk about like mass shootings or
Sure.
suicide, stuff like that. I'm more inclined to think about the immediate effect of what I'm going to say.
Can I shift the topic one more time before I cut out of here?
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk to you about hip hop. I've never seen anybody talk to you about hip hop. You're a rapper. Uh, Influences, what'd you grow up on, et cetera, et cetera.
I think Prince is a huge hip hop influence for me. I don't really think about because I don't really think of him as a rapper, but he is, and it's probably the rapper I listened to rap the most when I was a kid.
Who would you say that the culture would explain? I kind of know what you're saying, and I recognize it as an artistic influence, but not a rapper.
But he has a lot of rap songs, like of just literal rap songs.
Hmm. Maybe I gotta do more research on Prince. I know Purple Rain, back to front mostly, and that's about it.
Listen to the Gold Experience. I think that um, I listened to that album probably the most from like 10 to 14. I listened to it a lot. Uh, I think, yeah, that's like Prince, Michael Jackson, and Madonna are like my most formative.
Musical
mu-
influences.
I think so. Yeah,
And if I asked you, in terms of people that hip hop culture, people who would be in the hip hop genre, as it were, like,
yeah.
what about
Well,
that?
obviously Eminem.
I was gonna say, strike me as a huge Eminem fan, which kind of
I'm
ties
a
into the
I'm a huge
controversy thing.
I'm a huge Eminem fan, and um, yeah, not just his music, but his approach to he very clearly is like, I'm just going to rap about my life and I'll deal with the fallout later.
Yeah, and he also has a way of being exasperated by the criticisms towards him being controversial and whatnot, and then going 1,000% on it and being like, "Fuck you." I'm thinking, kill you, and then at the end he's like, haha, I love you, ladies.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I see you as doing in a lot of these conversations, to some degree.
Um yeah, that's fair. Um yeah, I don't want to be so defensive, but I just am.
Yeah, it's all right, man. I don't know. I just went on like a little YouTube rabbit hole where I saw 4 or 5 of your videos, and I was like, I gotta ask some questions.
Well, I appreciate you asking them.
I think that's probably good for now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night.
All right, man. You too. Fuck, my camera just died. You can